Here we go. The first round of this Southern Area Super-Bantamweight title fight between Frankie Story and Lewis Frimpong. Story, the title holder, won that crown in his previous fight against Brian Walker in June this year. And he looked every inch the champion doing it, spat his man multiple occasions, just really sort of walked him down and made the fight his own against a much older fighter. And we're seeing a similar market matchup here, Adam. Lewis Frimpong, 9 years the senior. Rather interesting, he went into the wrong corner.
I said to you before the fight, he's like a little buzzsaw. He's a hyperactive fighter, pressure fighter. Very exciting to watch when he gets going. Lewis Frimpong. But Frankie Story, as we saw against Brian Walker, has got bags and bags of skill, powers, power, and accuracy and variety. Frimpong will just keep charging forward as he's doing now. Story's going to have to fight him often. This is going to be one of the fight, I bet.
Absolutely. Frankie Story having to just try and get Lewis Frimpong off him at the moment. Just pushes his glove into his face in the clinch. Some dirty work going on there, not in the legal sense, just in the having to get your hands dirty to get the win, where you can see Frankie Story's sides already reddening as both fighters make it clear.
He lines it up again. He's punching from an orthodox stance, Frimpong. He's almost switching and then using the left as a right, which is quite clever, really. His movement is not, I'm not saying he's switching at all, it's just changing that angle.
Absolutely, it looks like a tricky customer. He previously has held this Southern title himself, a previous English title challenger, knows this kind of level, is comfortable here. This is only Story's second 10-round fight, if I'm correct. First being
to the body and then upstairs, sorry. This is good work from the outside. This is what he needs to do. He needs to man the young boy.
Yeah, this is proper pressure fighting from Lewis Frimpong. He hasn't given Frankie Story any room to work. He's just hitting anything and everything in that clinch. These short, tiny uppercuts, but there is power behind them. There is weight to them, and I think we're going to see what Story's made of here. Can he enact his own game plan? Can he make Frimpong respect his power?
I mean, between the sort of 18 fights these guys have had between them, there's been one stoppage and one early win. That's Frankie Story. Frimpong's never had one, but you wouldn't know to look at him. He's a wrecking ball, and he's doing incredibly well. But that's good work from Story when he can pick Frimpong off him.
Yeah, it's time.
What he's going to have to do.
Round two then of this Southern Area title contest, and it's going to be interesting to see how they come out now. Lewis Frimpong fought almost a textbook pressure fighter's first round there, absolutely smothering Frankie Story and doing some great work on the inside.
Yeah, Story's got a lot to do here, a lot of thinking. He's I guarantee you he's never fought anyone like Lewis Frimpong. I love watching Lewis Frimpong, but Frankie Story looked exceptional against Brian Walker, but this is really tough going for the champion.
Absolutely, he's having to really work. This has just been so draining physically, just trying to get Frimpong off him. He's like a little pit bull, this man, known as Free Smoke, as he just tries to get any space to work with. Story did have some success timing him as he came in that first round, Adam. We look to see more of that. He just needs to land these shots. Now look, maybe a tad low there from the chap, as he just has to try and work just to fight his fight, because at the moment Frimpong is outmatching him physically.
He's leading with that head so much.
Absolutely, it is. I think the referee's going to have to look at that. He's
got to have a warning given to him.
This might be it.
No. I mean, look. Oh, you heard the heads clash there. That was, look, whatever works. That's better from Story.
Timed that well, didn't he? Used his feet.
Yeah. I mean, I would still give that first round to Lewis Frimpong.
I agree. For me, it was absolutely his round. He had so much success, and just as we've seen from other pressure fighters, I remember Lauren Parker's previous opponent, she just gave her no time to work, no time to fight, and she really took the fight to her.
Good left downstairs there from Story, and then a left over the top from the southpaw.
It's a good shot, wasn't it? Coming into the fight now, isn't he? Starting to find his range, find his movement, find his rhythm, and it looks like Lewis Frimpong is a little bit more respectful of the power that he has. I have to say credit to Story. He doesn't look overawed. He hasn't panicked, as some might with a fighter like Frimpong. Because as you say, Adam, he hasn't been in with anyone like Free Smoke before as he goes to work again on the ropes.
Oh, that was good stuff from Frankie Story there. Tried to grab and turn Frimpong. That's exactly what he needs to do. He can't just stand there. He's not being blasted, but he's being chipped away at, and he's getting that head in his eyes. He's going to get swelling around the eyebrows and on the cheeks if the referee allows Frimpong to continue with that
great strength being
face first attack.
Great strength being shown by Frimpong. You can see that when they're in the clinch, all of Story's strength is having to go to trying to get himself out of this tangle. His arms are completely tied up, and as he's doing that, Frimpong is doing so well to get one hand or both free, and he's just hitting him in any way that he can. And these are scoring punches. They're definitely going to count.
Well, Frankie Story cleverly trying to tie up Frimpong's left hand there on the outside of the referee.
Here we go then, round 3 of this Southern Area Super-Bantamweight title fight. The holder in the orange trunks, Frankie Story, has really had his mettle tested in these first 3 rounds by the challenger, Louis Frimpong, a former title holder himself, as they go to work on the inside once again, Adam.
Yeah, he's the shorter man, he's the more compact man. He looks like he's got the faster hands, but Story, when he times it right, he looks good, but you know, they're singles, they're 1s and 2s, and then Frimpong does that, and he switches southpaw again, as he's been doing every now and then.
Backs him up onto the ropes again, Frimpong. This isn't a carbon copy of round 2. Frankie Story having to work.
Frankie Story can see anything with Frimpong's head in his face.
No, absolutely.
Like, I'm all for using every advantage you've got, but I feel like it's a little bit OTT.
I am watching the referee as Frimpong does have his head in Frankie Story's face. He's pushing his head down with his elbow. Both arguably points to which you could get a sanction. The referee happy to let the action go for now, and Story certainly isn't complaining, to his credit.
Yeah. I mean, as we said in between rounds, Story looks like he's marking up, but also that's just, he's,
his complexion, you could argue.
Yeah, he's like me.
Doesn't spend much time on the sunbed, you could make an argument for.
Yeah,
Frimpong looking good early, but this is a 10-round contest, and this is going to take so much energy to be this aggressive.
There from Frankie Story.
It was a good shot, wasn't it? Another one.
That's exactly what he needs to do. That's excellent work from him.
2 good, short, sharp left hands from Frankie Story, and Frimpong is taking a moment now, maybe just thinking what to do. Eats another one on the way in, Adam.
Yeah, and I mean, as I say, I've seen Frimpong can keep up this kind of tempo for quite a while, but it sort of depends what's in front of him as well. And if he's being caught, bit of blood from the nose of Frankie Story, and that's exactly what I was about to say. If that backhand left keeps catching Frimpong as he comes in, as it did there twice, it's going to slow him down. It's going to kind of disrupt his work, and
Absolutely.
That's what Frankie Story needs to do.
One thing which I do remember from the previous fight, Adam, against Ryan Walker, we both mentioned it was Story's first time doing 10 rounds, and he looked really good doing it. He didn't look like he lost any momentum. He had a great engine.
Absolutely did, but he wasn't wrestled and,
No, true. This is very different, and another big left hand. Arguably, this could be Story's first round he takes on the cards.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, he's starting to use that right hand jab as a rangefinder, which is what he needs to do, but
he's cut quite badly on the forehead, Adam. I think your prediction about head clashes has come true. There's a big cut right between his eyes.
I mean, this is. Look, I'm not having a go at Louis Frimpong, but I don't like to see this. I mean, come on.
Frankie Story is bleeding quite heavily to the face now. It's smeared everywhere. It's looking arguably quite bad.
Is the referee going to call it a punch that cut it? That was Frankie Story, the champions in the in the orange trunks. That was his best round for me, Matt, but it's come at the cost of a big cut.
Yeah, absolutely. The corner, just looking at it, look like they've done a really good job on it. They've stemmed that bleeding, but just given how heavy this action is and how much Frimpong is landing, and if I'm being honest, also leading with that head sometimes, I think it's already opened again, as right above us now, he pushes Frankie Story onto the ropes and is wailing away with both hands.
Chopping away, isn't he? It's really good work, as I blink as the sweat comes in my eyes. Good work to the body, though, on the outside of the referee from Frankie Story when he gets that right hand free. Good uppercut from him.
And that's the first warning we've seen then to Frimpong by the referee there. Not sure quite what it was for, perhaps trapping the head.
I mean, he's using it like a third fist.
He is very much going forward with it.
That's not to denigrate what he's doing with his two fists, which is exceptional pressure fighting from Lewis Frimpong.
Looks really good, doesn't he? It's not maybe quite particularly tidy, but it is effective. He's been punching very well, and he catches Story again with a short uppercut. Story manages to get out into the centre of the ring now. We want to see him, if he can do some of his own work. Catches Frimpong with a short right.
He wound that one up, didn't he?
But Frimpong just charges forward anyway, and we're back on the ropes. And this is looking almost like a wrestling match more than a boxing fight, Adam.
Yeah, it's pretty much all Frimpong. When fearless Frankie Story does have his moments, he looks like, oh, maybe he can just put his foot on and, you know, capitalise on that. But he's not given the opportunity by Lewis Frimpong, who's fighting like a man possessed.
Absolutely lands a good short left hand there. Just looking at comments from Steve Goodwin before the fight, he said it was going to be Story's silky southpaw skills against Frimpong's relentless pressure, and I think Frimpong is edging this quite considerably, but a good short left from Story there.
He's not allowed Frankie Story to show any silky skills.
Absolutely not. He smothered everything.
That away from him, and that's to his credit.
Oh, good shots from Story there on the inside though. Gives Frimpong a bit of a taste of his own medicine as he just shoves that left hand into his opponent's face, cocking it back and forth and just trying to get anything on him, Frimpong. Story still looking quite calm and collected despite the blood flowing between his eyes.
Nice flurry of punches there from Frankie Story.
Good shots, weren't they? Short chopping right hand from Frimpong and a right hook from Story for his troubles.
I'm just watching how quickly Frimpong closes that gap, because, you know, Frankie Story's got a split second to time his shot to keep Frimpong off him, and so far he's only managed it a few times in this fight, and I have him down.
No, I do as well, as we come to the end of round 4. Frimpong again just pounding away with that right hand. Round 5 begins of this Super Bantamweight Southern Area title clash. I just pointed to my colleague Adam here, our notes increasingly stained with blood as Frankie Story aims to retain his title against Lewis Frimpong here, but Frimpong very much in the sort of the ascendancy here, Adam, as again he just charges forward, this heavy inside pressure fighting paying dividends.
Every time I think Frimpong's just got him here, Frankie Story comes up with something like that there, just lands like quality, well-timed, accurate punches, and he's clearly got enough power to make Frimpong respect him, but only when he's on the end of his punches, not when he's on the inside. And he's not been allowed to get him on the end of his punches by Lewis Frimpong.
Absolutely. He is working as hard as he can on the inside, Story, and to his credit, he has landed some good shots. Frimpong though just looks so at home in that hot kitchen.
Well, he's in the home corner. There was a bit of trouble and strife about that before the fight. Frimpong came out first and then went to the home corner, and Frankie Story's team weren't happy about it, but they say if you want to win the title you've got to take it from the champion, and Lewis Frimpong is 100% trying to take this title.
Absolutely, it's a really nice short right hook from Ryan Story as Frimpong came in, but he's paid for it with 3 or 4 shots from Frimpong now as he just hammers away at him once again in the clinch. Story just trying to get his own head down, pushes challenger away, gets some space, but every time he does that, this is going to be interesting now. I think we're going to have a look at this. Oh no, and it's Frankie Story being told off. That is surprising.
Frankie Story's corner look absolutely shocked at that, and I've got to say, you do have to wonder how what the referee's kind of seeing and not seeing here.
I wondered whether the ring doctor was going to be called in for that eye, but yeah, the Frankie Story seemed to be getting a telling off for some sort of clinching that was going on. The referee didn't like the look of. Not sure what he does like the look of if he's watching this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bleat on about it. You know my opinion, but you know, again, Frankie Story's got
and they're coming apart again.
Got a pint-sized puzzle of power to sort out in Lewis Frimpong here, because he's the former champion, former English title challenger. You know, he's got it all to lose here. Oh, lovely backhand left from Story.
Just walked onto it, didn't he, Frimpong? But he doesn't look phased at all.
Didn't put too much of a dent in him.
Again, he goes to work with his man on the ropes. He loves these uppercuts with his left hand. And there we're getting some short hooks on the right. Story landing a good meaty uppercut of his own to the body though. And then Frimpong goes back trying to give him the return with interest.
Nice, that was a good short uppercut there from Frankie Story off the ropes. He needs to, I haven't seen too much of his work in close looking like it's doing much damage, but that was good, and he's going to need it. He's going to need it against Louis Frimpong, who is just not giving him an inch.
It's almost sort of one of the most brutal chess matches you watch. A Story, you can almost see him trying to puzzle his man out, working out how can I get him off me, how can I land my shots as round 5 comes to a close. Round 6. This contest between Frankie Story in the orange trunks, Louis Frimpong in the black, and it's been a bit of a mauling for Frankie Story thus far, Adam, as he's had to work really hard on the inside just to get anything going against this bullfighter.
Speaking to one of our friends at ringside who's a former fighter, former area champion, and he's got it a bit closer than I do, and I think you do. I've got Louis Frimpong winning basically every round. I mean, potentially, 4-1 halfway through the fight. Doesn't show any signs of slowing up, and Frankie Story has got a lot of work to do, if I'm honest. And I like Frankie Story. I think he's a great fighter, but this is just kind of,
this is brutal.
This is the kind of stuff nightmares are made of.
I mean, this is the thing. I've always thought one of the key skills you need to have as a professional boxer is what do you do with someone that is just coming at you, throwing both hands. As Frankie Story tries to part in his gum shield, dig his feet in and hit some uppercuts.
That's good work from Story there.
I'm just looking at Louis Frimpong's left eye. I'm wondering if there's a little bit of swelling there as well. Not that he seems to notice, as he forces Story into his own corner and is hitting him with everything he can. I have it probably about 4 rounds to 1 for Frimpong.
Hitting him or hitting him?
Story's face.
I've got this 4-1 Frimpong, I think. Story's
face, that cut open again, bleeding heavily.
Yeah.
Good uppercut there from Frankie. And
that is not allowed, I'm afraid.
I think perhaps an honest mistake there, but yeah, you're not allowed to hit a fighter when he's down.
I think that's frustration, if I'm honest. Frustration and
Story just wanting to get his work in while he can.
His corner is screaming at him. That is, yeah.
I don't think it's a bit naughty. I don't think it's a point off, but the referee must have thought about it.
He did it on the other side to the referee. That's good work from Frankie Story.
Yeah, absolutely. And he will have trained for this eventuality, and they know what kind of fighter Louis Frimpong is, his team. They've come into this, they want the win. They want that English title shot. But Louis Frimpong making it as hard as he can for the Southern champion at the moment. And a good uppercut there from Story as Frimpong came in. Again, just forcing that left hand into Story's face.
The younger man by 9 years. And you wouldn't really know it to look at them. Like the way Frimpong's fighting like a man in his early trades. The engine on him is incredible, and this isn't his usual weight category or weight that he's been at his whole career. Nice right uppercut or right chopping right to the body there from Story. But Frimpong just doesn't give him an inch.
Frimpong is landing so many shots at him on the way in, when he's in, and it just seems to be perhaps 1s or 2s coming back from Story, whereas Frimpong is landing 5 or 6.
I mean, Story doesn't look like he's wilting by any stretch of the imagination.
Not at all.
Good left hand there from Story. That was meaty.
And a rare moment where they're both in the centre of the ring, fighting on the outside, but then they clinch again. As this round starts to come to an end, the final few seconds, see there as they're right above us. The referee's going to split them, but Frimpong again landing short shots on the inside. Here we go, and I have to say, if you wanted to maybe work on your fitness, you can ask for Louis Frimpong's conditioning coach, because whoever it is, he's done a fantastic job at him. This is round 7. And given that he's 9 years the senior man and he's been working so hard, he doesn't even look like he's breathing that heavily.
And Frankie Story is still trying to just time that left hand on Frimpong coming in, and so far it's not worked for him. And then when Frimpong does come in, he does this. That was a good backhand left off the ropes from Story, but honestly, his inside game, I was just saying to someone in the break, why haven't they trained better for this? Or is it just that Frimpong is just unlike anything Story's been in with before?
Absolutely.
Because,
some big shots.
It's not a surprise how Frimpong fights.
Some big shots landed on that way in from Frimpong, and then he was just hitting Story to the body very successfully. This short right hand he throws on the way in, it's landed 2 or 3 times in the last few seconds. And again, as Story starting to look a little bit ragged, breathing heavily through his mouth as he leans on his opponent there. That cut just dripping blood
from his eye, isn't he?
Yeah, it's going all over his eye, all over his face. as he just looks like he's just not sure quite how to get this monster that's Louis Frimpong off him, but he spins well there.
Wonderful work from Story there. Wonderful work, but then he got caught, it went straight back to the same mistake, back against the ropes.
He's touching that eye quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's
never a good sign. As Frimpong again, hitting these shots well. Frimpong's corner clapping, very positive. They love what they're seeing. They think their man's got a one-way ticket to the English title.
I mean, I agree with them. I'm loving what I'm seeing. It's a case of, did Frankie Story get it wrong or did Louis Frimpong get it right? And I'll be honest, I think Louis Frimpong is just a menace. Well, Frankie Story is just doesn't know what to do at the moment. He's trying the same thing. He's bleeding. His probably vision is affected, and it just. Every second that Louis Frimpong is on that inside, he's scoring. And Frankie Story then has to wrestle him back off him and try and hit him with ones and twos on the way in.
Absolutely.
It's not going to win him the round, even if it does put a dent on Frimpong, which, let's face it, it hasn't so far.
I think I can only imagine the aim from Story is trying to catch him with a big shot and wobble him, or at least make him respect him and give him a chance to do his own work. But it hasn't worked thus far. And as you said, Adam, that great truism of boxing, if you want to beat the champion, you have to beat him. You can't just hope for luck on the cards. And Frimpong definitely seems to have taken that lesson to heart, as he again looks to outwork Story on the inside. Just forward from Louis Frimpong. No respite, no stops, no motions. That left eye of Story just really not looking good. It's almost swollen shut. And I have to imagine that the ring doctor's going to have a look at it.
That was a good left hook though from Story as he lands ones and twos at the end of the... 3 to go, Matt. Just 3 to go. It's flown by, hasn't it?
Absolutely. I can't imagine it's felt that way to Frankie Story in there. This must feel like the longest fight of his life, as he has been wailed on and beaten quite badly by Louis Frimpong to this point on the ring. He has had some success of his own to the body and the head, but Frimpong has just looked like a buzzsaw, as you described him, Adam, coming forward relentlessly. And again, they're pressed onto the ropes.
There's a bit... Oh, Frankie Story's taken a knee. He's taken a knee. I think that looked like he took a knee rather than was put down.
I wonder whether this is the eye.
Taking an 8 count. Taking an 8. Well played.
Frimpong must sense something here, sense something big.
But that's pretty obvious.
That eye really not looking good. Lots of blood now coming out.
Going for its Story. He's really putting power into his punches as much as he can. I mean, not to say that he was puffing them, that eye is gone. I wonder whether he's been told, you've got to do it this round or it's all over. Because that is looking more and more gory.
He's taken so much punishment. You can see Louis Frimpong is covered in the blood of his opponent, and Story himself is turning red with his own, as he very gamely tries to get something going in this fight. Throwing that left hand still, trying to catch his man on the way in, but caught on the ropes again. Fighting back now, but Frimpong leaning on him, using that strength, using that physique to just wail on his man and just hold him up as he hits him with one, then ties him up, hits him with the other.
Good right hand.
The referee, as I'm looking at him, looking at this very closely indeed, and he's looking solely at Frankie Story. And a big shot comes back from the champ as he fights for his title.
And he fights Frimpong off. That's the first time he's looked remotely hurt. He's responded well, Louis Frimpong here.
As Frankie Story landed a really good shot there, but his mouth is wide open as he's gasping for breath as Frimpong hits him on the ropes again. Story supporters screaming at him, trying to push him on to get some more success, as a good body shot lands there.
It's doing well to tie up Story's right hand on the opposite side to the referee there, Louis Frimpong. This is looking more and more like dire straits for the champion, isn't it, really? I mean, he's had his moments, but they're fleeting, and then Louis Frimpong just doesn't let him off the hook.
Not at all.
As soon as he makes a mistake and lets him inside.
Absolutely. I mean, if you just look at the differences between the faces of the two fighters, and Frimpong, I can scarcely believe it, it's still going.
It's not a beauty contest, is it?
Well, not at all, but when you've got your own blood sheeting down your face, and your opponent still looks like he's just in round 2, I think you can see who's shit more punishment. As Frimpong is still going at him, still wailing away, still fighting, still pushing to try and get as many punches land as he can.
After this, Story sags against the ropes.
this fight has been stopped between rounds, just coming into the 9th. There's Louis Frimpong retakes the Southern Area Super-Bantamweight title with a commanding performance. Arguably could have taken every round there against Frankie Story, who fought so bravely and so gamely, but ultimately just didn't have an answer to the pressure fighting of Louis Frimpong there.
The title is still your winner by TKO.